Listen carefully. If you're hearing this right now, it's not by accident. You didn't stumble onto this message by chance. You were led here because something deep within you is waking up. The world has tried to distract you, bury you, silence you. But your time is now. Your dormant powers are about to awaken. And once they do, nothing will ever be the same again. Chosen one, you've always known there was something different about you. You felt it since you were a child. You saw the world through eyes that others didn't understand. You questioned things others blindly accepted. You felt deeply, saw clearly, and sensed powerfully. But somewhere along the line, life tried to put that flame out. The world convinced you that your gifts were too much, that your dreams were too big, that your knowing was wrong. But deep down, your spirit never stopped burning. And now, it's time to light that fire again. The truth is, you've been asleep, not fully, but just enough to forget who you really are. You've been living under layers, layers of fear, of trauma, of judgment, of noise. But none of that is who you really are. Beneath all of it lies something ancient, something divine, something powerful. And the time has come to peel those layers away and stand in the full force of your purpose. You see, being chosen doesn't mean life is easier. It means your assignment is greater. You were marked for something other people won't understand. Your struggles have been heavier because your calling is higher. Your setbacks have been deeper because your leap will be greater. And while you've been wondering why you were hit harder, rejected more, and pushed to the edge, it was all preparation. Pressure always comes before power. And what's been lying dormant within you is about to erupt like a volcano. But let's be clear, your powers will not awaken on their own. You have to activate them. You have to be intentional. You have to stop playing small. The reason many chosen ones never rise is because they wait for permission. They wait for someone else to recognize them. They wait for the world to make room for them. But if you're waiting, you're wasting. The time is now. The moment is already here. You've got to step up, step in, and step forward, regardless of who understands you. The first key to awakening your powers is awareness. You must become conscious of who you are beyond the surface. You're not just a body walking through this life. You're a soul on assignment. Your thoughts aren't random. They're signals. Your emotions aren't weaknesses. They're guidance systems. That gut feeling you get, that's divine direction. Stop ignoring it. Stop second-guessing yourself. Start trusting your inner knowing, because that's where your power begins. Everything in this world has tried to distract you from your inner compass. Social media, the news, fear-based programming, even the people closest to you. All of it can become noise that drowns out your inner voice. But you've got to tune back in. Power doesn't come from the outside. It's built from the inside out. That's why your quiet time is sacred. That's why solitude isn't loneliness, it's alignment. The more you silence the world, the louder your soul becomes. And that voice within you knows exactly what to do next. Once you become aware, the next step is acceptance. Stop trying to be like everyone else. You weren't meant to blend in. Your uniqueness is your superpower. Your difference is your destiny. When you try to fit into places you were never meant to be, you shrink your light. And right now, your light is needed more than ever. The world is starving for truth, for vision, for healing, and you carry the codes. But you can't unlock anything until you stop denying who you are. It's time to embrace your weirdness, your sensitivity, your intensity, your hunger for more. These are not flaws. They are signals. You are wired differently because you were designed for something greater. And the moment you accept that fully, without shame or apology, you shift your energy. You start vibrating higher. And that frequency starts attracting people, opportunities, and moments that match your true power. But don't be surprised if, as your power grows, your circle shrinks. Not everyone can handle your awakening. Some will fall away. Some will question your change. Some will even resist it. That's okay. Let them go. Your path is not for the faint-hearted. You are not here to convince anyone. You are here to become everything you were created to be. And sometimes, evolution requires separation. This is not the time to be lukewarm. This is the time to burn with purpose. You've waited long enough. You've doubted yourself long enough. You've dimmed your light long enough. No more excuses. No more procrastination. No more wondering if you're good enough. You are more than enough. And everything you need is already inside of you. It's just been waiting for you to wake up and use it. And that's what we're going to do next. Let's go deeper now, because awareness and acceptance are just the beginning. The next phase of awakening is activation. This is where you stop thinking about your power and start using it. Chosen one, it's time to take action. You can no longer afford to wait for the perfect moment. The truth is, the moment you decide to move, that's when the energy shifts. Your decision activates the flow. Heaven responds to your motion. Your destiny reacts to your boldness. You must begin doing the things your soul has been whispering to you about for years. That vision that keeps showing up in your mind. It's not random. That gift that's been nudging you in private. It's not going away. That calling you keep pushing aside. It's persistent for a reason. It's part of your divine design. You weren't created to just survive. You were sent here to shake things up, to break chains, to lead, to heal, to create. And your power lies in movement, in momentum, in obedience to your higher calling, even when you don't have all the details. Because when you move, the universe aligns. Doors you never saw before begin to open. People start showing up. Favor begins to pour out. But none of it happens if you stay stuck in your head. Analysis paralysis is the silent killer of divine potential. Stop thinking so much. Start doing. Start building. Start showing up as if it's already done. Now let's be real. When you begin to activate your power, resistance will show up too. This is not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's proof you're doing something right. The enemy doesn't attack empty vessels. Resistance is the signal that something powerful is awakening in you. So don't retreat when you feel pressure. Rise. Don't shrink when fear creeps in. Face it. That fear isn't there to stop you. It's there to test if you're serious. And you are. You're serious about becoming all that you were meant to be. You're serious about breaking cycles. You're serious about shifting generations. You're serious about healing the parts of you that were once ignored. And that seriousness is your superpower. It gives you the ability to endure, to persist, to show up even when it's uncomfortable. And that persistence is what separates the awakened from the asleep. One of the biggest lies that keeps chosen ones asleep is the belief that they need to be perfect before they begin. Perfection is a trap. You don't need to be flawless. You need to be faithful. Just start with what you have. Right now, the universe multiplies movement, but it cannot amplify what you never initiate. That little step of faith you take today could unlock massive blessings tomorrow, but you'll never know until you move. And let's talk about your environment. Your surroundings are either feeding your power or draining it. You must become intentional about what and who you allow in your space. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not every conversation deserves your attention. Protecting your power means setting boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable. You can't grow if you're constantly being pulled down. And not everyone will rise with you. And that's okay. You weren't called to carry everyone. You were called to carry truth. Start surrounding yourself with energy that fuels your mission. Read things that elevate you. Listen to voices that align with your purpose. Consume content that reminds you of who you are. You have to guard your mind like it's the gate to your future, because it is. The more intentional you become about your environment, the stronger your power grows, because you're no longer wasting it on things that don't serve you. Now, let's get even more practical. Your body is a vessel for divine power. You can't activate your full strength while neglecting your physical self. You must take care of the temple that carries your purpose. Move your body. Fuel it with real nourishment. Rest when you need to recharge. Your physical energy affects your spiritual clarity. When your body is aligned, your spirit can speak more clearly. Don't underestimate the power of wellness in your awakening. And your words are instruments of creation. Life and death are in the power of your tongue. You must become conscious of what you speak over yourself. No more "I can't." No more "I'm not ready." No more "maybe someday." Start declaring what you want with boldness. Speak life. Speak faith. Speak as if it's already yours, because it is. Your words create atmosphere. They build momentum. They shape reality. Every time you say, "I am powerful," you awaken a new level inside you. Every time you say, "I am chosen," you silence the doubts that try to creep in. And when you start speaking from your true identity, your energy shifts. People notice it. The atmosphere around you begins to respond. Because when a chosen one speaks from alignment, the whole world listens, even if they don't understand why. So now you've gone from awareness to acceptance to activation. But this is only the beginning. Because once your powers start waking up, your entire world will begin to transform. And that's when you'll face your greatest test yet: consistency. This next part is where most people fall off. Not because they're not gifted, not because they're not called, but because they stop showing up. They expect lightning to strike every time they take a step. But awakening isn't about sudden magic. It's about sustained momentum. It's about doing the work even when it's not glamorous, even when nobody sees you, even when nothing seems to be changing on the surface. Chosen one, the power you're unlocking now demands one thing above all else: consistency. It's not enough to be powerful once. It's not enough to awaken for a moment. You must stay awake. And staying awake means showing up daily for your mission, even if the world doesn't clap for you, even if it feels like no one understands you, even if it's lonely. Especially then, because that's when your roots go deep. That's when your character is shaped. That's when the divine gets to do the hidden work in you that will soon burst into visible blessings. Do not despise the season of small beginnings. Every legend started in silence. Every giant took small steps before their breakthrough. Every light had to pass through darkness to shine brighter. So if you're still in the shadows right now, trust that it's all part of the plan. Your power is being trained. Your wisdom is being sharpened. Your voice is being prepared. Keep building when no one is watching, because soon everyone will. Consistency will require sacrifice. There will be days where your flesh wants to rest, but your spirit must push. Times when quitting seems more comfortable than continuing. But you didn't come this far to give up. You didn't survive everything you've been through just to stop here. You've been marked by heaven for a reason. You carry a divine assignment, and the world is waiting for what you were born to release. And don't be surprised if you outgrow people in this phase. Consistency often exposes those who were only attached to your potential, not your purpose. As you rise in discipline, some connections will fall away. Let them. Everyone can't walk with you to the next level. And that's not your loss, it's alignment. What you lose in numbers, you'll gain in clarity, focus, and power. Every day you choose to show up, your energy expands. You become more magnetic, more intentional, more unstoppable. You no longer wait to feel ready. You move in faith. You no longer seek outside validation. You're fueled by internal conviction. That's what makes you dangerous to darkness. That's what makes you untouchable to confusion. That's what makes you a true chosen one. And let's be real. Spiritual power doesn't mean life becomes easy. In fact, the more awakened you become, the more opposition you might face. But here's the truth. Power isn't the absence of problems. It's the presence of divine perspective. It's walking through storms and still choosing to believe. It's facing trials and still speaking life. It's standing in fire and knowing you won't be consumed. That's power. That's authority. That's the energy of someone who knows who they are. You've got to get to the point where your mood doesn't dictate your mission. Your feelings are real, but they're not your master. You might feel tired, but you're still chosen. You might feel unsure, but the plan is still active. You might feel small today, but heaven is still backing you. Don't let your feelings trick you into shrinking. Let your faith remind you of your fire. Now that you're consistent, you'll notice something new happening. Opportunities will begin to seek you out, not because you're lucky, but because you're aligned. Blessings will start to recognize your vibration. Resources will find your address. Doors will open, not because you chased them, but because you became the person who attracts them. That's the secret. You don't chase what's meant for you. You rise into the version of yourself that receives it. And here's where it gets supernatural. The moment you step fully into your awakened energy, you shift timelines. What would have taken years begins to happen in months. What was delayed gets released. What you prayed for starts to manifest, not because you begged for it, but because you finally became it. That's the law of divine resonance. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. So if you want peace, become peace. If you want abundance, think abundantly. If you want favor, carry yourself like someone already favored. Your external reality will always mirror your internal identity. Chosen one, your life is catching up with your energy. And your energy is catching up with your truth. You're not late. You're not behind. You're right on time. For your breakthrough, your harvest, your next dimension. But let me remind you, don't let your rising intimidate you. Some chosen ones fear their own power. They feel the weight of responsibility and shrink back. But you were never meant to play small. The world needs your full light, not a dimmed-down version, not a filtered self, but the raw, real, radiant you. The you that's bold, the you that's healed, the you that's free. This is your season to fully embody your assignment, not in theory, in reality. With every step, with every word, with every breath, you're not here to wait for permission. You are the permission. You are the proof. You are the miracle that someone else is praying for. So act like it. Speak like it. Walk like it. This is the shift you've been waiting for. But it only becomes real when you say yes. Not a passive yes. Not a someday yes. A right now yes. A burn the excuses yes. A no turning back yes. Because when you say yes with your full being, heaven responds instantly. Not with delay. Not with hesitation. Instantly. This is not just a motivational moment. This is a divine initiation. The moment you say yes, all of heaven says yes with you. Every angel assigned to your journey gets activated. Every hidden resource gets released. Every divine connection begins to move in your direction. Not because you're chasing blessings, but because blessings are now chasing you. That's the shift. That's what it means to awaken your power. You stop striving and you start aligning. And once alignment happens, acceleration follows. What used to take years now unfolds in weeks. What felt impossible suddenly becomes your new normal. Not because your circumstances changed overnight, but because you did. And you are the key. The key was never outside of you. It was always inside, buried beneath layers of fear, doubt, trauma, and false identity. But now that those layers are falling away, the true you is emerging. And the world has never seen anything like it. You're going to start noticing strange confirmations, signs that you're on the right path. You'll hear things that speak directly to your spirit. You'll meet people who feel like destiny in disguise. You'll get ideas that feel like downloads from heaven. That's not a coincidence. That's the result of your awakening. When your frequency shifts, the entire universe responds to it. You become a magnet for divine experiences. You begin walking in synchronicity. Doors open, hearts open, realms open. But understand this. New levels come with new testing. Not to break you, but to build you. Power without process leads to pride. That's why God doesn't skip your training. You're not just being elevated. You're being entrusted with influence, entrusted with impact, entrusted with spiritual power that has the ability to shape lives and shift generations. That's not something given lightly. That's why your journey has been so intense. That's why the warfare's been so real. Because your destiny is too heavy to carry without strength. But now, that strength is rising. You're no longer doubting the calling. You're embracing it. You're no longer running from the fire. You're walking through it like it can't touch you. Because it can't. Because it was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you. And now, the real you is stepping forward. Fearless, focused, fierce in faith. This is when the enemy panics. Because the moment you recognize who you are, you become unstoppable. The moment you realize you were never powerless, every lie loses its grip. Every limitation crumbles. Every chain breaks. That's why the attacks intensified. Because the enemy saw what was awakening in you before you did. But it's too late now. You've crossed over. You've remembered. You're no longer sleepwalking through life. You're wide awake. And now, you're stepping into your authority. Not just in your words, but in your walk. Your very presence begins to carry power. People can feel your energy before you even speak. Rooms shift when you enter. Atmospheres align when you stand in truth. That's not ego. That's divine resonance. That's spiritual dominion. That's what happens when heaven backs your identity. But with power comes responsibility. You can't just live for yourself anymore. You've been awakened so others can be awakened through you. Your life becomes a light. Your story becomes a testimony. Your presence becomes a reminder to others of what's possible when God touches a soul. That's the real mission, not just to rise, but to raise others with you. So don't hide your journey. Don't silence your story. Don't downplay your breakthroughs just to make others comfortable. Be unapologetic about your transformation. Be bold in your calling. Be loud with your light. Because someone's watching you. Someone is waiting to believe again, and your courage might be the spark that reignites their hope. This is where many chosen ones stumble. They awaken, but they isolate. They rise, but they disconnect. But your power was never meant to be hidden. It was meant to lead, to inspire, to awaken others. You're not just called to shine. You're called to spark revolutions, not with force, but with faith. Not with noise, but with presence. And don't let perfectionism stop you. You don't need to be flawless to be powerful. You don't need to have it all together to be impactful. Real power flows through authenticity, through vulnerability, through your willingness to show up raw and real. That's what changes lives. Not just your victories, but your journey. Not just your light, but the way you fought through darkness to reclaim it. This is the phase where everything speeds up. Ideas become actions, visions become plans, plans become reality. You start seeing the fruit of seeds you planted years ago. The timing finally aligns. You're not forcing doors anymore. They're swinging open. And when they open, walk through boldly. Don't hesitate. Don't question your worth. You've earned this moment, not by striving, but by surrendering. And in this phase, stay grounded, stay grateful, stay guided. Don't forget the source of your strength. Don't get so caught up in the spotlight that you forget the secret place. Keep returning to the well. Keep nourishing your soul. Keep listening to the still, small voice within, because that voice is what will keep you aligned when the noise gets loud. You're not who you used to be. You're not even who you were last month. That's the beauty of awakening. It keeps evolving. You're constantly expanding, constantly growing, constantly stepping into more of yourself. So honor that. Celebrate that. Don't wait until the world applauds. Clap for yourself now. You survived things that could have broken you. You healed wounds that ran deep. You chose truth when lies were easier. You showed up for yourself when no one else did. That's power. That's strength. That's divine resilience. And you're just getting started. You've crossed thresholds that many feared to even approach. You've walked through inner fires and emerged refined, not ruined. The tests you endured weren't just for survival. They were for calibration. Every pain, every delay, every betrayal was shaping your vibration to match your divine assignment. That's why you couldn't fit into certain spaces. That's why certain doors never opened. They weren't rejection. They were protection. You weren't being denied. You were being directed. And now, the direction is clear. Forward, upward, deeper into truth, wider in influence. This is your expansion season, but it requires a shedding. You can't carry old thinking into new territory. You can't keep broken patterns while birthing divine promises. Your elevation demands a purge of fear, of doubt, of everything that whispers smallness into your spirit. You are no longer available for self-sabotage. That version of you has expired because you've realized that your power was never about control. It's about consciousness. It's about owning your energy, your thoughts, your presence. It's about understanding that the most sacred battlefield is within, and the greatest victories are invisible. When your inner world aligns with heaven, your outer world begins to follow. That's where real transformation begins. Not in chasing results, but in becoming the frequency of the result. You don't need to hustle for what's already yours. You don't need to chase blessings when you're already aligned with the blesser. Your awakening is a return, not to something new, but to something ancient within you, something divine, something that remembers who you were before the world told you who to be, remembers the voice that once whispered purpose into your soul, remembers that you were always meant for this. You were never too broken, never too late, never too far behind. That was the illusion. That was the programming of powerlessness. But your spirit knew better. That's why it kept pushing. That's why you couldn't settle. That's why even in your lowest moments, something inside still believed. That was your dormant power, alive the whole time, waiting for you to remember. And now that you have, the shift is irreversible. You'll feel things you can't explain. Your intuition will sharpen. You'll sense what's real before words are even spoken. Your dreams will become more vivid, more prophetic. You'll see beyond the surface, not with suspicion, but with spiritual clarity. That's not paranoia. That's perception. That's what happens when your power activates. You start walking in awareness. You start seeing with your spirit. People will notice. Some will be drawn to your light. Others may pull away. Don't chase anyone. Don't explain your evolution to those committed to misunderstanding it. You weren't meant to be understood by everyone. You were meant to be authentic, to be free, to be fully yourself, even when that self makes others uncomfortable. That's your assignment now, not approval, but alignment. Alignment with truth, alignment with purpose, alignment with the God who marked you long before the world even knew your name. So stay anchored. As your elevation increases, so will the distractions. Stay focused. As your influence expands, so will the responsibilities. Stay humble. As your gifts grow, so will the temptation to believe the gift is you. But you are not the source. You are the vessel. Chosen, yes. Powerful, absolutely. But not separate. Always connected. Always surrendered. Always listening to the whisper behind the wind. Because that whisper is how your next instruction will come. It won't always be loud. It won't always make sense. But it will always align with your spirit. Follow it. Trust it. Even when the path is foggy. Even when the steps don't seem to lead anywhere. Every time you obey, your power sharpens. Every time you follow, your spirit expands. You were born to be guided, not by fear, not by pressure, but by divine intuition that's being reawakened in you right now. Let your yes be loud in this season, not just in words, but in lifestyle. Let your daily decisions reflect your destiny. Let your habits mirror your future. Let your discipline speak louder than your desires. Power doesn't just manifest in big moments. It's built in the quiet ones, in the choices no one sees, in the prayers you whisper, in the thoughts you reframe. That's where the real transformation happens, day by day, choice by choice, until your life looks like your spirit always knew it could. You're not waiting for a sign anymore. You are the sign. A sign that it's possible to rise from anything, that you can wake up from spiritual sleep and remember your greatness, that you can turn pain into power and loss into wisdom, that you can evolve while still healing, that you can walk in power and still need grace. You are the living proof that chosen ones don't just survive, they transform. And transformation doesn't stop. It deepens, it widens, it elevates everything you touch. Your relationships shift. Your creativity bursts open. Your voice carries weight. Your presence becomes permission for others to awaken to. That's what chosen ones do. They break cycles by simply existing in truth. They set captives free without saying a word, just by being who they are, fully and fearlessly. And this is just the beginning. You haven't even seen the full version of you yet. You've only touched the edge of what's possible. As you continue to walk this path, more layers will fall off, more strength will rise, more gifts will emerge, and more lives will be changed because of it. And the world is waiting. Whether they know it or not, they're waiting for you to rise, waiting for your light to cut through the fog, waiting for your authenticity to shatter the lies, waiting for your story, your voice, your fire. They don't need another echo. They need your sound, the one heaven wrote into your soul before you were even born, the one the enemy tried to silence with trauma, with distraction, with fear. But what God ordained cannot be erased. What He planted cannot be uprooted by man. Every time you doubted yourself, your light dimmed, but it never went out. Every time you played small to make others comfortable, your power didn't disappear. It just went dormant. And now it's time to wake it up. Time to stop shrinking. Time to stop second-guessing. Time to stop asking for permission to be what you already are. You've got work to do. You've got souls to touch. You've got territories to take. This next season isn't about talking. It's about walking. About embodying everything you've learned. About being the message, not just preaching it. People will feel your shift before they understand it. They'll sense your growth before you even speak, because real power doesn't boast. It simply is. It walks in a room and changes the atmosphere. Not through ego, through presence, through alignment, through divine confidence that says, I know who I am, and I know who sent me. You don't need a stage to make an impact. You don't need applause to be anointed. Your assignment is valid even in silence. Your obedience is powerful even when no one sees. Because heaven sees. God sees. The angels assigned to you see every act of faith, every unseen sacrifice, every moment you chose growth over comfort. And they are rejoicing. Not because you've arrived, but because you've awakened. And now the acceleration begins. Doors that were once closed will begin to creak open, not because you forced them, but because your vibration is now in harmony with your purpose. People will begin to find you. Opportunities will start seeking you. Divine connections will cross your path. Why? Because alignment is magnetic. Because awakened power doesn't chase, it attracts. It doesn't strive, it flows. And in that flow, you'll rediscover joy. Not the kind that depends on circumstances, but the kind that lives in your soul. The joy of being in purpose, the peace of walking in your lane, the contentment of knowing you're exactly where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you were born to do. That's real power, not noise, but knowing, not hype, but healing. You'll feel it in your spirit before it touches your hands. You'll know you've shifted, even before your life reflects it fully. That inner knowing is the true sign. The quiet confidence, the sacred peace. That's how you know your power is no longer dormant. It's alive, active, and flowing through you. And with that power comes responsibility. You can no longer entertain what drains you. You can no longer dim your light for spaces that can't hold your brilliance. You've outgrown pretending, outgrown proving, outgrown performing. Now it's about presence, about impact, about pouring from a full cup, not an empty one, about creating from overflow, not desperation. And it starts with your mindset. Your thoughts are seeds. What you plant, you will harvest. Speak life into your journey. Speak abundance over your path. Speak healing into your wounds. Your words are power. Your voice is activation. Every declaration you make in faith is a spiritual command. Say it, believe it, live it, and watch everything around you shift. This isn't hype. This is heaven. This is your blueprint coming alive. You weren't just chosen to feel good. You were chosen to do good, to break chains, to interrupt generational curses, to leave a legacy of light. That's why the warfare was so intense. That's why the opposition was so loud. The enemy knew what you were carrying. But here's the good news. It's still in you. The gift never left. It's been waiting for this moment. For your surrender. For your yes. For your awakening. So say yes, not to pressure, but to purpose. Not to pleasing people, but to partnering with God. Not to fear, but to freedom. Because your freedom will free others. Your breakthrough will be the blueprint. Your courage will be contagious. That's why the enemy fought you so hard. He was terrified of what would happen if you ever woke up. Well, guess what? You're awake now, and there's no going back. You're seeing through spiritual eyes. You're hearing with divine ears. You're discerning what others miss. That's not weird. That's wisdom. That's not spooky. That's sacred. Chosen ones carry sight. You see the unseen. You know what others can't explain. Don't downplay it. Don't question it. Own it. Use it. Steward it well. You're not here to fit in. You're here to shift atmospheres, to stir souls, to speak to the deep places in people's hearts. That's why your words carry weight. That's why your presence makes people reflect. You weren't built for surface level anything. You were built for depth, for healing, for impact. And the more you own that, the more power flows through you. There's a fire rising in you now, not of anger, but of clarity, of holy urgency, of deep knowing that you've been quiet long enough, that your silence served a season, but now it's time to speak, time to create, time to walk boldly in the assignment that has your name on it. No more shrinking, no more waiting, no more delay. This is your moment, and heaven is backing you. You don't need another sign. You are the sign. You don't need external validation. Your anointing already confirms it. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need to believe in what God placed inside of you, because what's coming through you is bigger than you. It's for nations. It's for generations. It's for the ones who have been crying out in the dark, waiting for someone like you to show them what light looks like. And the moment you accept that, everything changes. Your time is no longer wasted. Your energy is no longer scattered. Your focus becomes razor sharp. You start saying no to distractions and yes to destiny. You no longer try to fix what's not yours to carry. You no longer beg to be seen. You know who you are now. You move with assurance, not arrogance, with divine boldness, not worldly pride. Because when your power awakens, it humbles you. It makes you sensitive to what truly matters. You become a vessel, not for fame, but for fire. Not for applause, but for anointing. And that fire can't be faked. People will feel it when you speak. They'll sense it when you enter the room. You won't need to explain yourself. Your presence will tell the story. Because presence speaks louder than words, and spirit recognizes spirit. That's why some people are suddenly drawn to you, and others are repelled. It's not personal, it's spiritual. The light in you disturbs what's dormant in them. Your growth triggers their stagnation. Your freedom exposes their cages. But don't shrink. Don't apologize for evolving. You're not leaving people behind. You're rising into what God already wrote for you. And those who are meant to rise with you will feel it. They'll recognize the same call on their life. They'll resonate with your frequency. They'll celebrate your transformation, not compete with it. Because chosen ones recognize each other. There's no need for masks. No need to explain the pain you've been through or the visions you carry. They just know, because they've been through the same fire. And that fire didn't burn you. It refined you. It stripped away everything false, everything fragile, everything that couldn't go where you're going. That's why it hurt. That's why it felt like death. Because it was. The death of your old identity. The death of people-pleasing. The death of fear-based living. You didn't lose your power. You outgrew your cage. Now you're free. Free to fly. Free to lead. Free to pour into the world with purpose. But remember this. The higher you rise, the deeper your roots must grow. Stay grounded in God. Stay anchored in truth. Stay humble enough to listen, bold enough to act, and wise enough to know when to pause. Because your gift will open doors, but your character will keep you there. And power without discipline is chaos. So don't just awaken your power. Cultivate it. Protect it. Steward it with integrity. Speak life. Move in love. Lead with grace. And always stay teachable, because the moment you stop learning, you stop growing. You'll notice the shift not only in how people respond to you, but in how you respond to life. The things that used to shake you won't anymore. The storms that used to break you will now build you. You'll carry peace into chaos. You'll speak clarity into confusion. You'll carry light into dark places and not be overwhelmed, because the light in you is now stronger than the fear around you. This is what you were born for. This is why you've endured so much. Not to be a victim, but to be a vessel of glory, a vessel of healing, a vessel of purpose. You were chosen to carry something sacred, something the world didn't see coming. And now that you've awakened to it, there's no turning back. Don't worry about being ready. God has already equipped you. Don't stress about being perfect. Your obedience is more powerful than your performance. Just start. Just move. Just open your mouth when the Spirit nudges you. Just show up. That's when the miracles happen. Not in your perfection, but in your participation. Every time you take a step in faith, the path becomes clearer. Every time you trust God with your yes, the doors open. Every time you choose purpose over fear, your power multiplies. You're not waiting for the world to approve you. Heaven already did. You're not waiting for a platform. Your obedience is the platform. And yes, there will be days when you feel tired. Days when the warfare tries to return. Days when you wonder if you're really making a difference. But keep going. Because every step in purpose plants seeds. Seeds you may not see right away, but heaven sees. God is keeping record. And your harvest is coming. Your awakened power isn't just for you. It's a key. A key to unlock doors for others. A key to activate hope in the hearts of those watching you from a distance. You're not just walking for yourself. You're walking for every person who ever doubted they could rise too. Your life is a living prophecy. Your journey is someone else's confirmation. This is why you couldn't give up. This is why you had to make it through. Because someone's deliverance is connected to your decision to rise. And when you rise, you lift others with you. Your obedience creates overflow. Your breakthrough makes room. Your yes changes lives. So stand tall, chosen one. Your power is no longer dormant. It's alive. It's active. And it's moving through you with divine purpose. You're not here by accident. You're not late. You're right on time. The world is shifting, and you are one of the catalysts. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. Your life matters. This is your moment. This is your rise. Heaven is backing you.